Bamboozle, for those who don't know, was a teletext quiz. I'm realising that if I have to explain Bamboozle, I then have to explain teletext. If you had teletext, you knew what Bamboozle was. Channel 4, page 152. So teletext was... I mean, you still have like a digital text on Freeview and stuff, but actually teletext is gone, isn't it? I think teletext has been wound down as a thing. So there are some digital text services, but they're not teletext. Anyway, yeah, old TVs before we had digital TV, used to have what passed as digital, I guess. It's as digital as the TV got, and you had like blocky. It's Shamanite. Hello, welcome to the stream. What is teletext data? Well, that's what I'm trying to explain on the hop here. So, it's digital data broadcast on an analog signal. So, remember when we used to have analog TV? This is my analog TV. The way that old TVs used to work is that they used to have an electron beam. So if you watch any video about CRTs, right, they'll tell you this. So it draws the picture in lines, it draws across, and then it zips back to the start and draws another line, and then it zips back to the start and draws another line, and it's doing that so fast you can't see it, right, and the lines aren't that far apart. So it's doing that, building that picture line by line by line by line. So when I say missing lines, that's what I mean. Yeah, so in the UK there were 625 lines going that way, right? But I think only 525 were on the screen at any one time. I can't remember exactly how many, but it's not so the arrow's wrong actually. It's more like that, right? So that's your TV picture. So what they did then was cleverly said, right, well down here is a picture. I don't know. I'm trying to draw some trees. I have no idea what this is. Here's your actual TV picture, right? Person walking, that's supposed to be. I don't know, right? That's your actual TV picture, right? But there's an extra bit at the top that you can't see on your screen. So everywhere from here up couldn't be seen on the screen. So, hello, Thorny Ghost. I've joined and I'm already confused, but I'm here for the ride. We're talking about teletext. Do you remember teletext? Is the point. So when we had analog TVs, well before digital was a thing, there was a way to get digital information to televisions. And the way they did that was by an extra piece of hardware that went into the TV. Onto new TVs, we didn't have one ourselves. That's why I got so excited going around to relatives' houses where they had teletext and we didn't, because it was a new thing. And it was only on the more expensive tellies at the time. Then it was on all of them. But what they did was basically, if you look at this picture on the left, that's the picture that's actually being broadcast. Ignore the red line. That was just me showing. That was just me trying to show where the extra information is, right? So this is the picture that's being broadcast. This one on the left. But the grey bit that I've drawn here, I'll overlap it again. This grey bit here, right? That's your actual TV. That's your literal actual TV. So it sounds a bit strange, but the TV picture being broadcast was bigger than the TV. It just always was. It just happened to be that way. Just by a little bit. I've probably exaggerated it in this diagram, but just by a little tiny bit. But what they did was some clever engineers worked out that they could squeeze in, like I say, these extra lines. I'll draw them in the same colour not to confuse things. So there's no actual way for the TV itself. The TV itself just ignores these extra lines. It just thinks, oh well, they're just part of the normal TV signal. Fine, I'll just draw them. But it's kind of drawing them but above the TV screen, so you can't see them. They're spare lines that are left over that aren't being used. But inside that information, if you actually look, it's not lines. If you actually got a chance to look at a teletext signal, well, it's lines of dots because it's digital. So I don't know if you remember seeing like an old TV picture, you'd get this sort of thing that might sometimes creep down into the frame if your TV lost its mind, lost its vertical hold. You might see like this random dotty pattern at the top. Yeah, I'll move it down a bit so you can... Oh, too far. Move it down a bit so you can get that. So there's like a random dotty pattern at the top, and that's the teletext. That's where the teletext lives. I'm 23, says Thorny Ghost. This was only in my life for like 5 years. Yeah, it's sad. It was a sad day when it finally finished, but the thing is that what they had to do was send it in a way that the digital box that had been put into an analog TV could actually pick up. So it had to be sent as effectively a TV picture, but that TV picture could be decoded by a special box inside your TV and turned back into digital data, which is how we get the teletext, which would be slick if it had been on the screen, which is how we get the teletext. Yeah. And there are a group of enthusiasts who are archiving old teletext pages. I'll put the link up again. And so part of this project here, the Teletext Viewer that I was just showing earlier, they're using some of the archived teletext pages and providing them to us in a teletext emulator that does a really, really authentic job of emulating how teletext used to be. That, you know, you'd have to wait for the pages and everything, and you can even change channels. So the way you use this, I'll go back to, I'll refresh it. You actually have to turn the TV on with the remote and then change to the channel you want. So you've got like a few different channels. BBC One is on 5 for some reason, but hey, there's nothing on the other channels. So they've done it like proper teletext. You have to do all the proper things. It won't do it for you. You have to press the text button. I think because Teefax was a trade name, so they've called it Teefax instead. But yeah, very cool. I love this. It's Shamanite says, I'm too young to remember any of this, I think. Yeah, it's a shame. It's a shame it's gone. It's one of those things that was of its time, yeah. I mean, I remember spending days on this, probably weeks of my life on it, maybe even months. Not non-stop, but, you know, I'd be on this for hours at a time if I got a chance, because we didn't have it in our house. So if we went to stay away on holiday anywhere, I'd be on it for ages. In a way it's sad, but in a way it's not, because then in my memories I remember the places, because they say about having hooks, don't they, for memories. The more hooks you have, the better chance you've got of remembering it. So on the one hand, I'm thinking I'm sad that I spent so long looking at a box, pressing buttons on a remote. On the other hand, I remember what I was doing every time I was doing that. I remember where I was, the surroundings, the relatives who aren't with us anymore. So it's a weird one, but it's actually been a good thing on balance. Otherwise, those might have just faded into obscurity. Not the relatives, obviously, but the individual memories were just kind of blurred together. You know, I can see specific rooms in my head where we stayed, where I remember being on teletext. It's very strange, you know. Maybe that's just me.